Welcome back, Fabian.
Welcome back
to the ASM podcast. How you doing, my friends?
Doing really well, Chris. How are you?
Good, man. I'm turning this awesome music off.
The intro.
The intro. I think we should start looking for a new song, though. What do you think? We need some ideas.
Something about winning. We like to win.
It's about winning. It's all the way up. On this episode today, ASM podcast, it's always enjoyable to have you guys join us back. But today, we're going to be discussing rugby scholarships, playing in the MLR, kind of careers maybe after rugby as well, after university, but really about how you can get into a top rugby university like you did at Arizona. Yeah. Which you're actually wearing the shirt today, just coincidence.
Yeah, just quick representing that here.
That's good. So we've got the topic, but let's kind of talk about, this is a really funny story about Fabian and I. We literally grew up, 10 minutes apart, but we didn't know each other until we came out to America.
Just down the road, literally the same road.
So I'm from a place called Kingston upon Thames, Surrey in England. But I grew up really around New Malden, which is like next door to Kingston. Yeah. And you were like the same. Just
next to Malden Golf Course. So,
yeah. And I played golf all the time at Coombe Wood, which is just up the road
where I went to school. Yeah.
So interestingly, that's how you can meet people here in the States, you know.
Yeah, small world. You'll always bump into someone from. It's a small world when you come out, especially for sport.
Yeah. Anyway, that was off topic, but let's now get back on topic. So you're from basically where I'm from. We both ended up getting a scholarship out here. I came on a golf. You came on a rugby. What made you want to look at coming to the States to play rugby? Because surely rugby is not where you come, right, to play. Like the US, you don't come to the US to play rugby. England's already a great place to be, no? What happened?
Yeah, exactly. It's what I get asked a lot. Obviously, rugby. England. When you think of rugby, England is the home of rugby, and everyone thinks of that. But it's sort of all to do with like the opportunity when it came about. I was coming out of school. I really wanted to be a professional rugby player. I wasn't quite at that level coming out of school, so the sort of professional opportunities didn't really warrant themselves. And I was like, right, well, where can I play rugby? Amazing facilities, keep playing the sport I love, but also get a degree. Your parents will be saying this, like you think in the back of your head, I need to get a job, I need to get a career at the end of the day. So like being able to balance up both, get a degree and continue playing rugby at a high level was, what I wanted to do, and the US is a great platform for that.
And England doesn't have those opportunities the same way, is it? Or like, I know for golf it's like massive difference. Like in soccer, golf, tennis, like huge differences out here. Like, way better in the States. Is it? How do you think it is in the US compared to the UK?
Well, in England, there's definitely they've got really good university league, Bucks, the British University, like college sports, like their equivalent. So the level of rugby is really, really high, but it's not. You're not sort of training in a professional dynamic there. It's like you go to a university rugby team for it to be like a social club. Right. Yeah. It's more of like how you integrate with other people, but it's over here you have like unbelievable facilities. Yeah. Especially in Arizona where I went, just ridiculous facilities. You train like sort of twice a day, like a professional team would. Right. Obviously, getting to play rugby in the sun in 30-degree weather, I wasn't going to turn that down. Rather than be in the Midlands or north of England, a bit more like colder, rainy weather. So, the level is high back at home, but I guess it's over here you have the infrastructure to sort of take rugby to the next level and your studies. Yeah,
because I think what's big here, friends I've had that done rugby in the UK university is more, they've kind of given up on the professional career. It's more just they're going to uni and they're playing rugby for fun.
Yeah,
like you said.
Exactly. But
the US, the MLR, the Pro League is growing massively, and you get that pathway to come to college here and make it to MLR. So you kind of have a chance of going pro again, right?
Yeah.
Is that kind of, because I know you had a tryout. I know our ambassador Corbs, Alex Corsebo, got you a tryout. To San Diego, is that right?
Yeah, San Diego and the Glendale team in Colorado are both kicking about, but it's no, I wish I was 5 years younger so I could redo this process, because when I first came out here, the professional league wasn't a thing.
Right. Yes, because it's grown so fast.
It's only 2 years old, so I wish I was sort of coming into the US system now, because the whole opportunity's there. And they're picking all the best MLR teams, picking the best players from college. Yeah. So you come here, you perform really well. It has that professional pathway now. So it's something that was sort of available, but it was very, very new. And some of these MLR teams are trying to sort of scramble around for internationals, trying to get some big names over, like Ben Foden from England and stuff like that. So it's
which we were involved with Corbs. Actually helped get that contract done.
now that there's a sort of infrastructure for it and it's been in place and it's only growing, it started with 7 teams, it's now at 12 teams, potentially going to be 14 as well. It's a good time to sort of get into the collegiate system here, especially for rugby.
Yeah. And I know you just were on the phone with the BBC. You were doing an interview with them, with Alex Coracebo, about rugby development. Do you feel like more media is getting interested in this as well now? Because to have the BBC interested is something pretty big. Yeah,
it's something, there's always been a sort of big hub here for rugby in America, but it's sort of been like hidden away, and they've been sort of desperate. Corbs speaks about it in the BBC article. It's like they've been desperate for sort of rugby to explode onto the scene. And you saw when rugby sevens became an Olympic sport, suddenly the US were just going full force at that, and they came second in the 7 series this year. Really got automatically qualified for the Olympics. It's become huge, and now they're sort of following suit with the 15s with the professional league. So it's it's broadcasted on TV now. Your college rugby, I got the chance to play at what's called the CRC, the Collegiate Rugby Championship Sevens. It's at Talon Energy Stadium in Philadelphia. There's 15,000 people watching. It's live on ESPN. My parents got to watch it from back in England. Just me live on ESPN playing sevens, representing the school, which was obviously awesome.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
So you're on national TV and international TV. Your parents watch it.
It was crazy. It was crazy.
That definitely doesn't happen in the UK.
No.
The only kind of collegiate university sport I think on TV in the UK is the Oxford and Cambridge boat race.
That's
on the same type of level, it's on national TV. That's it really, isn't it?
Yeah, the varsity boat race. Yeah, exactly.
So what kind of universities can I, if I'm a rugby player, right? I'm sitting at home, maybe in Australia, South Africa, because you can get rugby. It doesn't matter where you're from, right? You can be from anywhere in the world to get the rugby scholarship. It's just got to be good, right? But what type of universities am I looking at? Where could I go? What are the best ones you would say out here that will give you, say, the best chance to get to the MLR?
So it's all governed still by USA Rugby. So D1A comes out with their ranking of the top 20. So you've got your schools like Cal Berkeley, you've got your St. Mary's, UCLA, Arizona, some of the big schools, and then some of your slightly smaller, not Division 1 schools, but your Life, your Lindenwood, Kutztown, slightly smaller schools that have really sort of used rugby to promote the university on a global, on a national scale almost. Because they're not sort of getting that exposure when it comes to American football or basketball, but they've got a great rugby team and they get live on ESPN for sevens to really help promote their university. So they absolutely love. Some of the smaller schools really love that. I went to
Life University in Atlanta with Gavin, one of our scouts. Who you know Gavin well. And we went up there, literally meet the coach, tour the facilities, and it was awesome. I mean, I was like, if I played rugby, this would be a pretty cool place to come. And they're a really good team, Life, aren't they?
Back-to-back national champions now.
It's probably why it's really good there. Because it's just amazing. Because they win, they probably get more funding, and that's why. But that makes sense. So, how good do I have to realistically be? Because that's probably every question either parents asking or the athletes themselves are asking. Great, this sounds awesome, but how good do I actually have to be? What's kind of the parameters that they should have academically and sporting wise, rugby wise, to get in? We'll have a chance to get in.
So on the rugby wise, it really sort of varies. If you're sort of trying to sort of maintain that you're in the A team now or your first 15 rugby, something like that is brilliant. Anything added is really a bonus. Because the colleges out here realise that the best 18-year-old rugby players are maybe not from America. Of course they get them, amazing athletes here in America. Some of them are really good and really talented. But they realise the best 18-year-old rugby players, they're in England, they're in South Africa, Australia, that kind of thing.
New Zealand,
definitely. So they realise they're from abroad, so automatically when I pick up the phone to a coach, I say, look, I've got a lad who played first 15 rugby from Australia, from England. They're automatically intrigued because they know that they've been playing rugby since they were small. It's not like the Americans who might have picked up a rugby ball at 14, 15 years old. They've had limited exposure to the game, limited experience. So that automatically gets your foot in the door. So if you're playing anything above that, if you're representing your sort of county, provincial level, state level, and even if you're in a sort of academy, you've been in any sort of academy, you're looking at a very, very good scholarship out here.
Right, and what does that scholarship look like? Because I know for most sports like golf and tennis, soccer, you can get full ride scholarships, which means like everything's paid for.
Yeah.
Right. But I know rugby, that's not the case. Like not right now, anyways. It's getting much. I mean, every year it seems to be getting close and close to a full ride.
Yeah.
But let's say I'm a good player. Maybe not the best, but I'm a decent player. I've got good grades. I'm like a B grade student, C and B grade student, which wasn't me when I was 16. Like I was a seasoned tease. But let's say I'm like decent, right? What am I looking at potentially scholarship money wise? Because the average school here is what $45,000 a year. So it's pretty expensive. So what would I be paying?
So it comes down to sort of, you know, like we have with other sports, how much the coach wants you, and you know, if you're a young rugby player, definitely try and get as much film as you can.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you've got one more season left before you come out here, get mum or dad or your best mate, your dog, whoever it is, get them filming it.
I don't know about your dog though. Don't know how that would work. That's maybe not the best one.
Yeah, maybe not.
Maybe your pet goat from college.
Yeah, Nigel would be good. But no, just get someone filming the game, get as much footage as you can. Yeah. Sometimes coaches want to see a full 80-minute game. Sometimes they just want to see highlights. Highlights are good enough. But full scholarships are very, very rare for rugby, just based on your rugby ability. Right. Now, like as I explained to everyone on the phone, all these schools have the ability to stack rugby and academic scholarships.
And that will then get you the full rugby.
Yeah, which can ultimately lead to a full scholarship. So, like I say, to a lot of people, the academics are as important, if not more important, when it comes to coming out here for rugby.
Yeah.
Because you know, schools can offer, if it's a $40,000 school, they can offer you $20,000 for rugby, but you can get up to sort of $30,000 in academic. So it depends on the school. Schools obviously vary.
What's the lowest you've seen? It's like a good school. The lowest someone's paid just for rugby.
For rugby?
Yeah.
Well, in Canada, we've had full scholarships sent to Canada before.
Canada,
yeah.
Right. But like for the US?
For the US, probably $6,000-$7,000 is a very, very good scholarship.
And that's what you'd pay to like a $45,000 a year school. And that includes like your tuition,
accommodation. Yeah. So the only thing you're paying out costs there is, you know, your Starbucks in the morning.
Right. Yeah.
And
So that's not bad when you think about it. Like, so if I'm paying $6,000 or $7,000 and I'm paying that year on year, let's call it 6. So I'm 6, 12, 8, 24,000 for 4 years of education. Everything's basically built into that package. Instead of paying like 45,000, it's be like 180,000.
Yeah.
So there's a pretty massive difference, which
Huge
is good.
Difference.
But you're saying if I have good academics, I could actually get that 6,000 down to 0. Right? Yeah. And I know in the other sports, like, you know, you might start off year 1 and 6 or 7,000, but if you get your GPA up year 2, so if you get a good like a 4.0, 3.5, you could get academic money year 2. So if you didn't get it first year, you can always get it next year. But like, let's say I want to get it straight away, what kind of grades would I need to kind of? Because I know you're doing the ASM academics as well. Yeah. So this is your forte. Bro.
Yeah.
It's your forte. What do I need roughly to get the academic money?
So obviously depending on...
I definitely wouldn't qualify, but for the people that do qualify...
Depending on what country you come from, obviously like having really strong sort of A-level or ATAR in Australia or IB grades.
Matric.
So it's matric, sort of like an 80% or like A's, you're looking at, you know...
B's at the worst case.
B's at the worst case, but it comes out to their GPA, their grade point average scale, which is 0 to 4 for those that don't know that. And sort of trying to get that as close to 4 is going to get you more academic scholarship.
You need the SATs
and then,
as well.
Obviously getting a good SAT is going to help. You know, 1,200 plus is really going to put you in the right ballpark. But for a school like University of Arizona, if you have a 4.0 and over a 1350 SAT, you can get $35,000 in academic.
That's pretty good.
And it's a $40,000 university, so you know. It's a fantastic school, and if you get $35,000 a year, they want to reward you if you're great academically, obviously great at rugby.
So okay, let's say now I'm from one of these countries, I'm interested in the rugby scholarship, and let's say I have got those things you're talking about. I'm interested. When should I start this process? You know, do I start at 12, 14, 16, 18? Like, do I wait to have all this stuff ready to go? Like, when would you recommend to start?
I'd say the perfect time to start is probably 16, 15 going on 16. Yeah. So you've got 2 years left of school, so we can really put in a game plan. You know, if you're playing first team, really sort of try and push for like a county or provisional team. Yeah. Really with your coach, try and sort of get to that next sort of level. That's really going to boost. That's going to make you a more attractive recruit. Yeah. And then just like sort of keeping on top of your grades, just like sort of making sure we have everything in line for your application for the year after. Yeah. You know, coaches are probably going to like give you firm scholarship offers 18 to 12 months before for rugby.
Right. So if I was going to come out when I'm 18, I'm going to get it when I'm 17 or 16. And
Around that, because that's just sort of the way it works. Like we talk about college budgets all the time. The longer you wait, the smaller it gets. But like obviously when we talk about golf, you have to start at 14 years old.
It's the more competitive sports.
Yeah.
You have to start early. And I think that will happen for rugby, say in like 2 or 3 years time. It'll get more and more competitive, more and more people will find out about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like for me, rugby's kind of like where golf was about say 10 years ago.
Yeah.
No more than that, 15, 16 years ago. When I was coming out, it was like people did it, but it wasn't like everybody did it. So you had a higher chance of getting in on a decent scholarship, right?
Yeah.
So you could start later. Like I started when I was like 16, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't even know what I was really doing. So I really didn't start till 17 because I thought I was recruiting myself and I wasn't.
Yeah.
But, I think rugby's in that point now. It's getting more and more. I mean, I've seen our numbers grow massively, especially from kids from South Africa coming out here. There's interest is going nuts. And that's eventually going to get to a point where there's more demand than there's actually availability.
Yeah.
Right now there's a lot of availability and demand's kind of matching that availability.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we're starting to see that demand for athletes wanting to come increase a lot more.
Yeah.
And that means there isn't spots for everybody. So the earlier you start, because coaches will start giving out scholarships earlier and earlier to get the best players.
Yeah.
And I think we're seeing that in rugby, and we definitely see that in all the other sports right now, especially for like basketball, and American football, golf, soccer, tennis. Like it's tough. But so are these opportunities only available for males? Are they also available for females? Like, is it who can get this deal?
Yeah, great question. So obviously, women's rugby is actually bigger than the men's out here. Men's rugby in the US is still governed by the USA Rugby, so it's still administered by that rather than the NCAA, which governs all collegiate sport basically. You got NCAA and NAIA.
It's kind of a good thing though. Rugby isn't in that yet, which means less rules and regulations.
Yeah, exactly. But on the women's side, it's already governed by the NCAA, so there's more funding, there's more scholarships available.
There's a plus with the NCAA. You get more money.
There is more money, more exposure. So there's a lot more what they call varsity programs for women. Yeah. So what a difference between a varsity and a club is varsity is funded by the school. Yeah. So on the women's side, there's about 3 times as many than the men's, whether it's actually funded by the school. Whereas some of the men's rugby teams are still funded by alumni and boosters and sponsorships and stuff like that. So it's a bit more difficult to sort of negotiate scholarships that way. But the women's side, there's a lot more money available, and so if you're a young keen woman looking to come out here for rugby, it's a
good place to come.
Yeah, good place to come. Full scholarships available.
So we spoke a lot now about if you're kind of a good player.
Yeah.
But let's say you're not like the next maybe Alex Crosserbo or Brian Habana, which are both ambassadors with us, which is great to have. We'll come to them in a bit. So I'm a good player. I play in my high school. I'm pretty decent, but my grades are super good. Like maybe I'm an A grade student, and I have ambitions to maybe go to the Ivy Leagues, schools like this, like high caliber schools. I'm not really doing this to maybe go pro one day. I'm doing this to get a great education, play some rugby, get some funding, and then maybe get a great job in the States, or maybe go back home and get a great job. Definitely. Could you get out here for that? Because I know in other sports you can. What about rugby?
Absolutely. So we'd be looking at some of the sort of higher academic, like Ivy League or just below that, your UCLA, Stanford. And talking to the rugby coach is a great way to get in. You express that you're a keen rugby player, you really like the sport, and obviously it's offered on that campus. It's a great way to sort of get your foot in the door with these top institutions. And then obviously you're going to be going through the regular application process.
But it improves your application chances because you have an additional quality.
Yeah, something different about you, something extra to talk about, which admissions process love.
In case parents don't know, Ivies are like schools like Harvard, Yale, Princeton, Dartmouth, Brown. Brown's in there. So like these are the types of schools. So if you're thinking of like I'd like to get my son or daughter in those programs, this is a great avenue to give you a boost to get in there, and you help with that process and would manage that, right? Yeah. Awesome stuff. So let's now go back to the athlete that does dream of being a pro. Mm-hmm. We mentioned it earlier in the discussion, how it's a great pathway to get to the MLR. Yeah. But obviously you work very closely with Corbs. I've done a lot of work with him as well. I mean, he's very vested in this MLR process, and what we're doing around the world is we're working with other rugby global ambassadors like Brian Habana. We have another guy coming in France. He's a big superstar. We can't announce it yet, wait for the contract to be signed, but it's basically done. and we're going to be building on that, and that's going to be attracting a lot of talent. So these kids will come here, they'll go into university for 4 years, they'll graduate, but then how do they get to the MLR? What's the next step? Do they have the drafts? Is it the same as soccer and American football and basketball? We have the drafts, or is there no draft?
So no, there's no draft yet.
Yeah.
Maybe in a few years there will be something like a draft, but at the moment it's one of those things. It's who you know.
Yeah.
It's who you know. How are you going to get to that next level? Obviously, with our partnerships with Havana and Corbisiero does a lot of the scrummaging. He comes in, does scrummaging lessons with some of the MLR teams. He's very, very well connected.
I went with him to the San Diego one.
Yeah, San Diego Legion. So
he crushed it.
Yeah,
I was like a cameraman just going around filming everything, and he was just like, hey, and everyone was like, boosh, and it was cool. It was cool.
Yeah, he loves uploading the videos and that. No, he's obviously very well connected in the US rugby world.
He's on NBC as well.
Yeah,
he does the NBC commentary.
All of that.
He knows the main guy, the league as well. I can't remember his name. This is why you need to have Corbs in your team. Corbs manager.
Yeah.
But I think that's the key, right? So it's all about who you know.
Yeah.
Because there is no draft yet, so it's hard to kind of then progress from college to pro unless you know the right connections. And Corbs will basically do that bit for you. Like he will connect you to the right teams, get you the tryouts, and then kind of take it from there. And then if you don't know who Corbs is, he played for England, former international Lions,
British
Lions,
yeah.
And he got the biggest paying contract in the whole of MLR history last year with Ben Foden.
Yeah.
So that kind of gives you some status, doesn't it?
Yeah, he's the man. He's the man to go to. Yeah. So it's something that a lot of rugby guys will be familiar with. They would have seen people get professional contracts back home who they are on the same level with, but they might have sort of known the coach or their parents was mates with the coach, that kind of thing. It's sort of about who you know, and a lot of the kids get picked up at 16, and then if you develop late, it's too late for you to get into that system. So it's all about like who you know, and if you come out here and you're playing well and you warrant those professional opportunities, it's something we connect you with Corbisiero down the line, who's really going to like put your name out there to the MLR teams and hopefully get a contract.
Awesome. So, all right, Fabs, to like kind of sum this up then, let's say I'm interested, I want to find out if I can actually have a chance in getting a rugby scholarship. What should I do? I'm listening to this, I've been watching it on YouTube. Hi, YouTube. Yeah. And, you want to take next step. What should I do? Yeah,
just message the Instagram group or go to the ASM website, fill in your details. I'll get in contact with you personally.
Yeah.
We'll have a chat about rugby, what your goals are on and off the field, what you might be looking for out here. And if it's a fit, I'd love to help you sort of get to an amazing program, hopefully Arizona, but something, a really good program out here, which is going to allow you to sort of get a top quality degree and keep playing rugby at a high level.
So the process is you go on our ASM Scholarships Instagram, some great content also to check out there if you haven't already followed us. Or go to www.asmscholarships.com and just basically fill in the application form.
Yeah.
That will come to you. You'll then set up a consultation call and take it from there.
Yeah.
And see if they're any good.
Yeah, we'll have a free call. I'll introduce myself to you, myself to your parents, sort of making sure everyone's on the same page, and if it's the right fit, we'll go forward and secure you guys a scholarship.
What if you're not good? Are you just going to say, I can't help you, basically?
Yeah, it depends how much time you've got left. Know, if you're not too good at 15, I can give you the steps. I can potentially you need to be playing at this club. You need to be contacting these coaches. Develop your game.
Yeah, that's why it's important to start early, right?
Yeah,
so as soon as you kind of get started, you can kind of give them that pathway of what you have to do. Because if you're 18, it's too late. We only can work with what you have.
Mm-hmm.
But if you start at 14, 15, 16, we can start projecting a pathway for you to at least give you that best chance of getting the best uni. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
And also save the money, because the more impressive your resume is, the more money you're going to get from the coach.
Exactly.
So
better on mum and dad's pocket.
100%. Definitely. All right, well, look, let's finish this up with maybe one interesting story you have about college or rugby, stories you want to share with us that you might want people to know about.
Yeah, well, we played against UCLA at the StubHub Arena.
Yeah.
It's where I think the San Diego Chargers played once. And I sort of, we went out and we played, and it's a 30,000 seat stadium, and at the beginning of the game there was about 6 people in there. But we played as a warm up to the USA Argentina game.
Wow.
So after the USA Argentina game, after our game, the USA Argentina game started. Yeah. So I got subbed off at the end of the first half. I think I had a rib injury, and then by the sort of 60th, 70th minute, suddenly there's 10,000 people in the stadium all coming in for the USA-Argentina game. I was like, coach, get me back in. Get me back in. I got him to sub me back in the last 10 minutes, and can now say I played in front of 10,000 people.
But you had an injury as well.
Yeah, but I was like, it's 10,000 people.
That's a real rugby player.
Yeah,
that's a real rugby player.
The adrenaline was going. I was all fired up, and I was like, get me out there, coach.
That's awesome. So that's the kind of opportunities you get, right, from this experience. You have the chance to play in front of these 1,000 people. Be on TV, on ESPN, like you mentioned before. Yeah. It sounds pretty awesome, man. I definitely recommend any rugby players out there. Just give Fabs a message on Instagram. Go on ASM Scholarship Instagram. Go on the website asmscholarships.com. Just see if you have what it takes. Fabs will tell you. You've got nothing to lose, but at least to inquire and see what's possible.
Yeah.
Hope you enjoyed this podcast today. I've definitely enjoyed your time again, Fabs.
Love that.
Rugby, learning more about it. And if you have enjoyed our content, feel free to share it with a friend, tell someone about it. We don't charge for this. This is free. And we do this really to kind of let you know about the process, scholarships, all sorts of stuff. So we hope you enjoyed it, and we'll be back next time. Fizz pump, brah. Cheers.